Hi friends, it's your art teacher, Miss Barnett, and in this week's lesson called People in Action, we are going to be making a clay sculpture of a person or a group of people. So today, to make your sculpture, we're going to do some thinking. We're going to think about, are you going to sculpt one person or multiple people? How are you going to pose your model? And we've been talking about poses for the last couple of lessons. And what mood do you want to show, and how do you want to show the mood? So what you're going to need today is some clay. Clay is very soft and it's very easy to pinch and mold with our hands. So our hands are going to be one of our very important tools today. You're also going to want a plastic fork, and this is to scratch into the clay. This is called scoring, and we'll be doing scoring today and making the clay very rough when we want to join two pieces together, and I'll show you how to do that. The other thing you'll need to join our clay together is slip, and slip is clay plus water and a little bit of vinegar, and it acts as the glue. So just like when we do collage, you can't expect two pieces of paper just to stick together. Clay won't just stick together either. So we have to use a very special technique, the scoring, like I just showed you, and the slipping. And it's like putting two pieces of Velcro together. You might also want, as you get towards the end of your project, a little paper clip, and we'll use this to draw onto our clay. All right, friends, you also want to make sure you have one of these clay mats. It'll help keep the table a little cleaner and make sure your clay doesn't stick to the table. So clay is pretty awesome because it's very easy to fix if you make a mistake. And if you need to start over, it's not a big deal. It's really easy once you know what to do to get back to where you were. So I'm going to take my clay and I'm going to show you how to make two different kinds of shapes today. We're going to need to make 4 coils, which are kind of long, skinny cylinders. And then we're going to need to make 2 balls, one for the head and one for the body. So I'm going to grab a clay knife. You might need a plastic knife for this. And I'm just going to cut a piece of my clay off, just like that. And let's make a ball first. So I'm going to take my clay in my palm of my hands, kind of moving my fingers out of the way, and I'm just kind of gently pressing and rolling. Just like that. Okay, I might want to take a little bit of this slip if I see any cracks or if the clay feels very dry. We don't want the clay to be warm. If the clay's warm, that means it's drying out and we need to put a little bit more moisture in it. That slip will help us with that too. So here's one ball. You cut off a little bit more. I want it a little bit less. So this will be the body and this will be the head. Some more. I'm going to make some coils. So a coil is kind of long and skinny, and we're going to roll a coil from our fingertips down to the base of our hand, going like this kind of motion. I'm going to press a little bit and roll. You might want to pick it up, squish it a little, roll it back. So we want to make sure he's not getting too flat here. There's a crack right here, so let's smooth that out. There we go. One coil. Let's try this one. We want to also make sure that he's about the
All right, friends, now that we've made all of our parts, I'm going to show you how to put our parts together. So we're going to pick up our fork and we're going to score. We're going to make X lines. So one way and then the other. And then the other. And we want our clay to be nice and rough just like this. But you notice I haven't pressed the clay anywhere. I've just gently scratched into the surface with the fork. Now I'm going to do the same right here where I want it to attach. One way and then the other. Till it's nice and rough. You cannot skip this step. You just can't put two pieces of clay together or they'll fall off. Just like a collage won't stick together without the glue. Speaking of glue, now we're going to use the slip. We're going to just add a little bit here and smooth. We want it to be kind of like frosty, like putting frosting on a cupcake, but just a little bit. And then over here. Awesome. Now we're going to take our two pieces and we'll kind of squish, squish, squish. Not squishing, but I'm kind of wiggling them together. And then I'm going to take my fingers and very carefully blend the two pieces of clay together. I can then shape the torso a little bit more. Make him look more like a body and not just like a snowman. Think about the shapes of the head and the torso while you're working on this. Good, good, good. So now it's one piece of clay. I can't just pull it off and I'll come by. Don't be upset when I come by and I check your scoring and I kind of tug on it. If your piece came off, that means we need to try again. Because if I don't do that and the clay dries, it'll just fall right off and I can't stick it back on then. So we want to make sure it's sticking really good right now. Now we're going to add the arms. So I'm going to score here, making that X shape and on the part of the arm that's going to attach. Get a little bit of slip. And I'm going to wiggle those pieces together and blend. Don't forget about his armpit. We need to make sure it's sticking the whole way around. If it gets too thin, call me over and I'll help you push his arm in so it doesn't fall off. I'm here to help you. Awesome. Oh, see, it's not quite attached here. It's pulling apart. We want to really make sure we're squeezing that clay and blending it together. All right, that looks good. Now let's attach the other arm. Score. Don't lay him back down on this side because we don't want to squish his little arms, so lay him down on his back. Slip. And wiggle and blend. Awesome. Looking good so far, guys. Let's attach the legs the same way. Scored and flipped. Every time. Every time. You might need to push this leg up into the body so it doesn't get too skinny. Blend the whole way around. We're getting our friends almost done making our person. Then we can do the really, really fun thing. Score the other leg on.
very carefully pick your clay up. Hold him like a little baby in your hand. He's delicate. He could break right now. Blend, even between the legs. Look how that could fall off. See where the crack is? We don't want that to be there. I might score a little bit in here just to be on the safe side. Okay, looking pretty good. Now I want you to bend the figure at the elbows.
And the knees, and kind of figure out what kind of position you want to put him in. He's a little bit too big to stand up, so we'll do it laying down. He's too heavy. So I think this guy's going to be kind of like running. And now we can use our paper clip and scratch in some details. So you might want to add a face. Try not to cut through the clay, just a little bit of scratching to make your details should be just enough. You could also use this side and press. Alright guys, so let's add these last little bit of details, and I think he'll be ready to set back and dry.
If you want him to be more three-dimensional, you could make him sit. That's kind of cool. There's a lot of different things you could do with this. If you are doing the back, he's going to be sitting up. You need to think about what he's going to look like from the back too. Ooh, got a crack here, so remember we can take our slip, even here, and smooth things out. Right, and here
Is my person in action. I can't wait to see how yours turns out. They're going to be great. Let's get started.